Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with the Atakline for you now on this Monday, April 13th, 2015. Alright, hope everyone had a very good weekend this weekend. I did, especially with me returning to DJ in action after a 3-week break, which I returned to action this past Saturday night for a Commodore's Ball for Huron Point Yacht Club. My last event was a yacht club event back in Midland for the Anchor Bay Yachting Association. Highlights from that show are on this channel. Now I did another yacht club event to end my 3-week layoff. And it was a fun show. This is my third Commodore's Ball for Huron Point in the last 4 years. I didn't do it last year. It's like their big banquet to open up boating season. I did it, the first time was in 2012, which was at the place that this year's Commodore's Ball was at, Mackenway, or Mackway Harbor. In Mount Clemens, very fancy place. That's kind of by the clubhouse. That's why they chose it. And that first year was decent. The last time I did it 2 years ago was at Burning Tree Golf Course, and that was an awesome show. This show, this past Saturday at, like I said, Mackenway, as some people call it that, was probably as good or even better than the one 2 years ago. It was a really good show. New songs did okay, like Uptown Funk did well, Blurred Lines was awesomely received, always awesomely received with these yacht club people. But most of the older songs were like Disco worked, and Motown for like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and Do You Love Me that got good reception. And Weenie, who's the Commodore, female and male can become Commodores. Her daughter requested songs for them that were really well received, like Can't Smile Without You from Barry Manilow, which I don't play, especially for dancing. That was really well received. That's What Friends Are For, which was a good slow song. And Dancing Queen from ABBA, which I haven't played in a while, that was really well received. There were so many good songs I can't name one that was really well received. Funk did well. It was a cool crowd, though. A really fun show this past Saturday night. Got a lot of gigs lined up for this upcoming week. I am returning to Mumford High School baseball this week, DJing a couple games for them this season in honor of my 10th anniversary of starting out at the baseball games. That was like my first big DJing gig. I'm DJing a game tomorrow and Thursday for them. We got special needs dance on Friday, first one since February that I've attended, and I got a last minute Sweet 16 birthday party I just booked for this Saturday. I think I'm doing another gig Friday as well. Maybe at Westfield. I'm negotiating that right now. So there you go. Now, on with the entertainment news of this day. Starting off with your number one movie in America. With no much competition, Furious 7 remains number one movie for the second week in a row. It dipped a little following its big 140 million draw last week, but still an impressive 60 million, almost 60 million for the second week. For the longest ride, the only movie that debuted this week, landed at number 3, with 13 million got destroyed. This forthcoming weekend, April 17th, interesting movies coming out. We'll see where they land and who may kick off Fast and Furious 7. Will it be Monkey Kingdom, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, or Unfriended? I say either Unfriended or Paul Blart, because Monkey Kingdom's not advertised enough. Mostly Paul Blart and Unfriended are the ones I've seen commercials for the most. So we'll see if any of those become number 1 to kick off Furious 7. Now on to the biggest music happening of the weekend, Coachella Weekend 1. Of course, in most recent years, Coachella's been 2 weekends. And most of Coachella's Weekend 1 headliners streamed their performances on YouTube. Not all of them, though. AC/DC refused to let them stream the performance, but they did pretty well from what I heard. Their first full performance without Phil Ward or Malcolm Young, and they kicked ass, I heard. I saw some YouTube clips from fans. And I'm going to see them in September at the Waco Bus Tour. Can't wait to see it because I'm a big fan of theirs. And then Saturday's headliner was Jack White, which I heard did pretty well. Then yesterday's headliner was Drake. Now, Drake, in many people's eyes, didn't put on a classic performance as many people expected from him, because he had a lot more samba songs mixed in with his hot, poppy songs. And he refused at first to let people see his performance on YouTube, but he relented last second. And boy, oh boy, was it the right call for him to stream it last second. I watched a bit of this performance on YouTube last night at about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was 11 p.m. Pacific. It was 2 a.m. Eastern, because I'm living in Michigan. So they performed a mix of his old songs, a lot more summer songs, kind of like a downbeat Grammys. If you don't see my Grammy review, you get what I mean. If you saw a Grammy review, you saw what I mean when it comes to being more downbeat than upbeat. And of course, Drake performed a lot of songs from his mixtape, If you're reading this, it's too late, which gets a physical release next Sunday, April 21st, after being only a digital album. So he performed a song songs from the mixtape, including a song that kind of segued into his only special guest of the night. He usually brings out guests, but he only brought out one, and the one he did bring out was awesome. He performed a song for that mixtape called Madonna, and the lights went down, and here comes the queen of pop herself, Madonna, coming up to do a mini set with a backwards baseball cap and a little jacket. When she took it off, unveiled the shirt that said "Bigger as Madonna," a line of that song from Drake. She performed "Human Nature," "Hung Up," and going back to with the name "Human Nature," which had the most talked about moment of the performance, which is still talked about throughout the day today. She put Drake on a chair, trying to give him a lap dance, and then, of course, the moment that everyone, like I said, still talking about, when she kissed Drake on the lips. Interesting one, especially Drake's face was priceless. He was like, whoa. It's like kissing your mother, basically, almost, because Drake is like 20s, and Madonna's half his age, twice his age. Yeah, I know Madonna likes dating younger men. But for me, if I were to date Madonna, and I'm a fan of hers, don't get me wrong, I love her music, but if I were to date Madonna, it would be exactly like dating your mother. Because she is the exact same age as my mother. I love her, but I had to make that joke. I apologize. I'm a big fan of hers. But it was still cool to see her out there. And the reaction she got was awesome. And I was watching it, like I said, on YouTube. You should have seen me. I was like dancing it up to Human Nature. I was like, one day to play with Human Nature for, and I was like, oh my God, here's Madonna. It was awesome. It was like my own little music mark out, not wrestling. So there you go. Now, Drake decided to capitalize on his Coachella performance, for good or for worse, by announcing his new tour today. Now, the staging for the show last night at Coachella looked like a big jungle. It was a cool set. And that's why I think he announced the tour today, because the staging is kind of like what he's going to use on his tour, the aptly titled Jungle Tour, which only has 5 dates thus far, but could add more. The tour will kick off May 24th at the Toyota Center in Houston. It will stop by at Madonna's home state, Detroit, Michigan, at the Palace. Second time he's played there. He's also playing in Chicago United Center on May 29th, May 31st, Montreal at the Bell Center, and his hometown of Toronto at the Air Canada Center as his own headline performance before its OVO Festival takes place in the fall, in the summertime. Like I said, he may add more dates, but that's the only dates he has right now for the tour, which will feature Future as a special guest. Tickets will go on sale this weekend for the new shows. For the Jungle Tour, like I said, you only announced 5 shows, but there could be more added. And they're announced like a month in advance. So there you go. Drake performs at Coachella with Madonna and capitalize on it by announcing his Jungle Tour and announcing a physical release for, if you're reading this, it's too late, coming out next Sunday physically. Now, on to another band announcing a tour that has played festivals like Coachella in the past. Mumford and Sons, who, as we all know, have gone more electric on their forthcoming album, Wilder Mind. They only announced some festival dates and some dates as part of their Gentlemen of the World tour, but now they announced more tour dates. A proper tour to promote Wilder Mind, which will kick off June 2nd in Brooklyn at Coney Island. The non-Gentlemen of the World tour dates will include Boston, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Detroit at Pine Knob DTE on June 16th. They're also going to be at Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Bonnaroo, that's already announced, and also Chicago at Montrose Beach, that's a cool name for a beach, in Edmonton, Alberta, among others, to go alongside the Gentlemen on the Road dates and festival dates like Bonnaroo, Outland, Outside Lands, and more. So hang on, Mumford & Sons announces more U.S. dates to promote their upcoming album, Wilder Mind. And not only will they be touring to promote their album, they'll be one of David Letterman's very last musical guests. As today, CBS announced some of the final guests during Dave Letterman's final weeks. Beginning tonight, April 13th. Now, his last date, as we all know, is Wednesday, May 20th. Although we don't know who's going to be on that final show yet, we do know who's going to appear on his show in the next couple weeks. And the list is a who's who of movie, TV, and music stars, which will include George Clooney, Robert Downey Jr., Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Tom Hanks, Jack Hanna, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Keaton, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, Sarah Jessica Parker, John Travolta, Don Rickles, Julia Roberts, and musical guests the Avett Brothers and Brandon Carlisle, Elvis Costello, Dave Matthews Band, Emmylou Harris, Noah Jones, and the aforementioned Mumford and Sons. Guess who are going to be on this week, starting tonight? Sarah Jessica Parker is going to be on. The young master champ, Jordan Spieth, and Asleep at the Wheel tonight will be performing. And Billy Crystal will be on. Julie Chen will be on this week. And Chris Stapleton will be on, performing on tomorrow. Michael J. Fox, Tracy Chapman will be on this Thursday performing, and John Mayer will be performing on Friday. So those are the initial first couple guests of David Letterman's final weeks on The Late Show, starting tonight. And like I said, no one's announced who's going to be on the final show on May 20th. Probably find out specific guests for that final air of Letterman's show in the next couple weeks to come. So that is it for the Atakline for today. Thank you all very much for watching. That mine. Y'all been attacked by the news from Zach. And you're not SAWFT. So off to me. So wrestling fan I got. Thank you once again for watching. See you later. Yeah.